Hello, everyone. We are back for another episode, and today I have with me Christina Nelson. So, Christina Nelson is a certified breathwork and meditation instructor who is also a registered nurse. Christina works in a level 1 trauma center operating room. And with the hustle and bustle of her high demand job, years ago, she was stuck in fight or flight. And some of it was due to her own trauma, and some of it was carrying her patient's trauma as well. So, years ago, 8 years ago, when she was struggling, she got to a place of there has to be a better way than this. And she had discovered breathwork and meditation, which she fully believes has saved her life and has helped her to become the woman that she is today. So during the pandemic, she realized how much others needed these tools as well. And she went on to become certified to be able to teach others. And through her coaching with other women, she has restored her creativity, presence, and joy again. So, Christina, we're super excited to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited too.
Yes, I am excited. I'm excited to dig into different forms of breath work, meditation, and how we can help others as well. So tell me a little bit more about your journey and what got you to specifically the breath work and meditation.
Well, it actually started way before nursing and all of that. I was raised in a house that was pretty low vibe. My mom had some serious depression. My father also, they did divorce, but it was turbulent and all of the things. I grew up with a lot of the victim mindset programming. Everything is happening to me, nothing's happening for me. And I got seriously depressed. I had terrible anxiety, social anxiety to the point where I didn't even really want to leave the house as a teenager. But I always knew like there had to be a better way. There had to be like some way to be happy. So I started searching from a young age. And that's when I went on the first medication and stuff that I did. I did seek out therapy and stuff. It wasn't very effective in my case. I felt like a lot of the therapists I had went to were asking me what I thought would help. And at, a teenager kind of an age, I don't know what's going to help. If I knew it, I would do it. And so I actually did use a lot of marijuana to self-medicate when I was much younger and all of these things. Um, but then as I grew into my 20s, the marijuana stopped helping. It started making me more anxious rather than like sedating the anxiety. And I'm like, well, this is completely the opposite effect. So I had to scrap all that, give all that up, and I went back on medications. And that did help in the way that instead of feeling really depressed and really anxious, then I just felt nothing. I was like, well, this is an improvement because now
One
I'm not feeling terrible,
Yeah, one
just feeling
extreme
nothing.
to the other. It's like, get this. And it's interesting that you say that about marijuana causing you to be anxious. There are some people I know, it does the complete opposite. It does not put them in that calm state. It's
Yeah, it did for a while, but then it just switched like a switch. I don't know what happened. And it was like now I was like looking out my windows thinking somebody's going to come and arrest me because I'm in my house smoking marijuana. I'm like, yeah, no, like this has got to go.
next.
So, yeah. So I totally scrapped all that, and alcohol never did it for me. None of that stuff. So I went back on prescription medications, and then I started my adult journey into responsibility and all of the things. And I really felt like I was just surviving. I was just surviving for my 20s, most of my 30s. I felt like it took me forever to really find my path and my road. Interestingly enough, I did start out with the diet and the exercise. I got into CrossFit. This was about circa 2013, around there, maybe 2012. I started doing CrossFit, which my depression was gone at that point. Like I got all the endorphins and stuff, but I still was anxious. I
Yeah.
was fixing my diet. I got introduced to like a paleo diet and my body transformed because before that, I had not been taking care of myself at all. I worked the night shift. I ate fast food. I drank soda instead of water. I smoked cigarettes, which, by the way, was the hardest thing to quit ever. Um, but yeah, so it was a really long, arduous road, it felt like, to get to even finding meditation and breath work. And meditation I found first. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing when it actually works. Like it's great. But sometimes I just couldn't sit there. The looping thoughts, the things going on in the brain were just too much. Like I just can't do this. And that's when I found Kundalini yoga, which is a very active form of breath work and meditation. And essentially, you use different eye gazes, you can use different mantras, use different breaths, use different like hand motions. You do like a lot of repetitive movements, but it's very soothing to the nervous system and it helps you slide into that without that panic of, oh my God, I can't sit here doing nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so once I found that, it felt like everything changed. And I was like, wow. I just remember walking down the hallway at work and my mind was quiet. And I was like, what is this? What is this happening here? This never happens. And I was like, oh my God, like, is this how normal people feel? Is this how it feels to finally relax and not be constantly anxious? Even at that point, I had thought that I had released so much anxiety and stuff, but I just didn't know how to relax in my mind. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes, it is. And for a lot of people who have those chronic anxious thoughts that are just they're looping, they're swirling, they're spiraling. It's like one to the next to the next. Did I do this today? I forgot that today. What did I do yesterday? What did I eat yesterday? Did I eat this morning? It's that constant loop. And a lot of our clients, because most of our women that we work with, they're kind of like where you are. They're in that professional state of what they do, and it's like the busyness. There is no space of quieting your mind. You're always thinking about what's next, what's next, what's next. So even in the space of meditation, you mentioned as far as the Kundalini yoga, what tell us a little bit more about the difference between that and regular yoga, so that way we can have a better understanding.
Kundalini yoga, it just depends on like what form you do. Kundalini yoga is amazing. It has like different things called kiras. So these are short little meditations you do, and essentially it's kind of like Reiki, where it's calling in a certain energy field to yourself. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to be less anxious, you do a certain like bunch of motions, and these patterns and eye gazes and things have been held throughout time by different groups of people to create this state. So it comes to you much easier. So if you're not used to holding this state on your own, it's able to come into your field much easier and it's much more accessible because you've created the perfect circumstance to get it to come. With regular yoga, it's not like exactly that focused. You're more like doing asanas or maybe yin yoga, like stretching, relaxing, and releasing stress in that way. Kundalini is definitely much more focused. It can be taken to extremes. There's some people that do like you get up at 3 a.m. and you start doing like a 2 hour long meditation and thing like that. I'm not into all that. I do the short, quick, works for me in this life that I'm living now on this planet. And but I also do all different sorts of breath work. I kind of put a spin on it, and I've taken what worked for me in the Kundalini breath work, and I've taken out. I mean, like there's some extreme postures too. I mean, like frog pose, you do like 100 squats up and down like rapidly while you're doing this fiery breath. Like it's a very stimulating form of yoga in certain times. Like whatever you're doing it for, it can be used in different ways, but I do what works for me and what I think is accessible to most people in my classes and is going to give you like the fastest transformation. I mean, you can just do 3 minutes and you're going to feel like, wow, I feel totally different than I did a little
Yeah.
while ago.
Are we, you said we're using mantras, so are we doing any kind of frequency vibrations? Like, are we saying any kind, like,
Yes, they do have different mantras. There's like Satnam, which means true self. There's a ton of different mantras that call in different things. A lot of it is really just calling in your own energy and your own power. And that's what I believe is most empowering for us to connect with the part of ourself that connects with everyone else in the universe. And that's like our true creator self. That's the part that we need to get to really get to know ourselves, to really get into our own power and to have access to all of that. That's what's given me the ability to be able to teach and to give and create. Because if you would have talked to the me from 8 years ago, I would have been like, oh, heck no, I'm not teaching anybody anything. I just got to get through this day and do the next thing and survive. But now I'm like, I've got all this space. I've cleared out all this energy, all of these, things that I didn't need to carry that I just didn't know how to release. And I think it would be amazing if we could get kindergarten teachers to start teaching just basic breath works, like how to do a diaphragmatic breath and shift yourself into your rest and digest nervous system. Like take all the little kiddies at lunchtime and start doing 3 big deep belly breaths before we eat, and how to shift them, because they could shift the energy of their entire classroom if they just did some of this stuff.
and it's funny that you say that. I had a client one time. She was a first and second grade teacher, and she started some of the nervous system regulation work that we were doing. She was bringing it into the classroom with her kids and she was like, the whole room shifted. And I was like, well, yeah, because everybody's on board with it. I had them do like hand on your chest and like a hand on your stomach, which is what I was telling her to do. And it's like, notice the difference in your breathing. If you're shallow breathing, is it like, are you feeling more of your chest move or are you breathing more from your belly? Now, of course, and I know we're going to talk about different types of breath work as well. There's the 360 breathing where you can feel it almost fill up kind of like a balloon, fill up the whole body. But I mean, even doing that, and she was like, I noticed my kids would go from like here and bouncy after recess to like down and cool and calm, like calm, collected. So I'm 100% on board with you. I think you should get in the schools. You should start calling your local schools. Hey guys, does anybody want to do this?
Well, I want to start with the healthcare workers first because we are the ones that need it the most and do the things the least to take care of ourselves. It's hilarious because we all kind of know what to do, but we're just like, yeah, we'll get to that later. That's not important right now. I got to take care of my patients, my family, my everything else but myself. And it's like, we all know the saying, like, put your oxygen mask on first before you help the other people, and it's so true. And I can say that from experience. Like, the me that I was when I didn't take care of myself was a tiny portion of the me that I am now. And I can't even imagine who I'll be in another 10 years. I was giving like 10% of my capabilities to my patients. I was showing up as just a sliver. And now I can be there so much more. And I can be there so much more for my family. And it's not fair. When you don't take care of yourself, you're cheating everyone else out of like the real you
And
and all of you.
that's so right. It's like, I teach my clients the nervous system regulation all the time. And when you don't take care of you first, and they're like, oh, that's selfish. No, it's not. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, first thing in the day, give it to yourself, not to everybody else. When you talk, it's almost like running on your phone battery when it's at 20%. Yes, it's going to work, but it's going to start slowing down. It's not going to work as optimally. It's going to have issues with certain things. Like it's going to start running slow. You're going to get irritated with it because just go freaking charge it. Not just 10 minutes, go charge it. Well, we have to do the same thing for ourselves. And it doesn't, like we can't, I couldn't always be the person to sit in silence. So there is a wasp that just came in my office. Hang on 1 second. we're gonna monitor him and close that window, and then I'll just kill him at some point. Okay. So yeah, you can't be in that space of giving to everybody else when you're running on fumes. So I want to shift gears. Let's go. Can we do some breath work type things? If you want to educate us first on different types of breath work, like what do they do? What are they doing different in your body? What are they doing different in your mind? And then can we like actively do some?
Sure.
Okay.
Uh, so we can, I mean, essentially your diaphragmatic breath. So that's breathing into your belly space, fully expanding it and fully contracting it. So this is like the core breath that we are missing in our regular lives. If you breathe this way normally, you are golden, you're a magician, you're doing amazing. But most of us don't. We mostly breathe into our chest when we get a little stressed out and do a shallow little breath thing like you were saying. So, like one of the key things, just if you notice that you're feeling off, is just to look like, where is my breath going? Is it up in my chest or is it down in my diaphragm? Because when this diaphragmatic breath is happening, all of your organs are getting a massage. Your lymphatic system is getting a pumping action, which it doesn't get normally. Your heart doesn't pump your lymphatics. So that's all of the waste products from around your body. So that all gets pumped through this diaphragm and your muscles moving. So when you do this, the biggest lymph node in your body is based on your spine. So when you're giving that a massage, it's helping your immunity, it's helping you to detox, it's helping all of your organs to function, and it's telling, your nervous system, all of your nerves run down that area. Like it's safe for us to relax, heal, rest, and start to digest. So that's literally the most basic. So just like bring your hand on your belly, and if you look at it, watch it rise when you inhale and then watch it fall when you exhale. And just focus on going slow, full breaths. And just do one more. And doing that before you eat is amazing. You're going to get more out of your food. You're going to be able to digest and absorb the nutrients better, other than your body like shuttling it off to the side and you get indigestion and bloating and everything else because you haven't told yourself it's safe. We can eat now. We don't have to run from the lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
Yeah. And like if you have trouble sleeping, doing like a 4-8 breath. So 4 in, 8 out. This puts you into your parasympathetic nervous system. So you can just block out all the mind noise and everything by counting your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4 in, and then 8 out. So doubling your exhale to your inhale also puts you in your rest and digest state. And this is great to help you fall asleep. If you want to add a hold in there, you can do a hold for 4, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. But just make sure you're extending that exhale, and that helps to bring you down, bring you into the rest state. I also like to do a lot of like energetic detoxification breaths. So, like the breath of fire. So, that's a famous Kundalini one. And that's using your belly like a pump. So, that diaphragmatic breath, you do real quick, short inhales and exhales, and your belly will be moving for that. So, you'll be able to see it, but you're essentially like doing a forceful exhale and then inhale. So, it's like,
Okay.
so
I
doing that for 3 minutes straight, it like is very stimulating and detoxifying, and it also resets your brain. So if you're having a lot of mind looping, you're gonna be like, after that, you're gonna be like focused and energized. And like if I'm feeling like I'm going to work and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I hate this traffic. I hate everything. I do a nice little breath of fire for 3 minutes. And by the time I get to work, I'm feeling much better.
That's interesting. So I was going to ask you about that because that is a breath that I do. Didn't even know what I was doing because you and I had already discussed, like, oh, I don't know anything about breath work. But I do find myself doing that frequently throughout the day. And it does. It's just, now I thought it was just more of core contractions because as a bodybuilder, that's what I was taught to do is like, you zip it up and everything else. And so every now and then I make sure I still got it. But I mean the breath work that goes into it as well. And I would do the breath work associated to it. So I think that's really interesting. How does that make a
Yeah,
difference than doing deeper, full breaths? What is,
it's more balancing, so it's going to get you more energized. It's not going to put you into the restful
okay.
sleeping state. But it's going to give you like a focused energy, not like an anxious, paranoid energy. Although I wouldn't suggest doing that one during a panic attack. Then I would do something more along the lines of like a box breath where you're doing like the counting and the holding, and that really can get you out of your brain and into your body, and it's more calming, and it might be easier to access when you're in a kind of a wired state because you're doing like different things like inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. I usually start with like a 5 count for everything. 5 count in, hold for 5, out for 5, hold for 5. And like with the breath hold stuff, you can build up your numbers. Like I had a random like trigger panic attack thing that I haven't had in years. And I did a 10 count box breath. And now let me tell you, holding your breath for that long, like you get out of your head. You're doing like 1.5 breaths per minute. And I really was able to shift myself fast. So it's a beautiful tool to use. There's also like transformational breath work, and that's something that you do when you are ready to really work through and release the deep stuff. So that's like a half hour of the same breath, and it's belly, chest, exhale, belly, chest, exhale, usually through the mouth. You can do it through the nose also, but you just kind of go on a journey. You go on a journey with the song, you go on a journey with your body, with your breath, and the things that are ready to come up will. You might see shapes. You might feel like different random emotions. You might go to different events in your life, whatever you're ready to release. But that's like when you're ready to do some serious breath work, I would suggest something like that. For the daily shifting, I definitely do the shorter, quicker, like more effective breaths.
I like that. That's interesting. So what does the hold do? Like what is the breathing in and then holding it? What is the purpose of
Breath holds, they are very stimulating. So, I mean, they're good for a lot of different things. They're good for your stamina. They like scuba divers use breath work, obviously, to learn how to hold their breath for longer, and free divers, all of that. But it's as long as you're healthy and you don't have any kind of like aortic aneurysm or pressure in your lungs or any kind of issues like that, it's really good because it's like you're sitting with the breath and you're feeling the energy build. So like a lot of times when we finish out like a Kundalini Kira, I have people take a big deep breath in. So we can do it together now. Hold it at the top and then squeeze the base of your spine and imagine your energy spiraling up your spine out the top of your head. And so this is clearing out all of your chakras. Just imagine as you're squeezing, 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 holding, 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 and then exhale. You feel like you just like cleared out some stuff just by doing that. So at the end of Akira, that's oftentimes how we finish it out, just releasing anything that's ready to go. I also like to use like shaking, all kinds of, that's a very good release. Yep, somatic release, and just shake for 1 minute straight. I make people do that in my live classes. It feels very awkward, but it works so good to
it
get rid
does?
of anything that's ready to go.
It's so
Uh,
interesting. Anytime I'm in, I know I catch myself over the years because anytime I'm in conversation with somebody and it's like something that's like a lot, I'm like, oh, and I never noticed it until I started doing more somatic work, and it's like, oh, it's not shoo shoo go away, it's get out. That's not okay. So that's interesting. And somatic movements do work, you guys. Like it moves. Energy is just it's emotions in motion is all it is. It's you're just moving it around. So you're just releasing it, getting it out, shaking it out, stomp it
Yeah,
out.
and I love breathing intentionally into anything that's tight. When you have a tight muscle and you're stretching it, when you're stretching it, breathe into it and invite it to release. If it's ready to release, you can just sit with it, hold it, and breathe into it and stretch it. And like you'll be amazed how much faster your body responds to that because you're creating safety with your breath, with your attention and intention. So just being like, do this now. It's like, oh, you're being nice to me. I was waiting for this. Thank you.
I think it also goes into that mind body connection, like, where your muscles are and identifying them, feeling into them, and, just, I don't know, it's a more connected space with yourself. Like, that's what we're doing.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't even feel my body for years because my mind was just so like disconnected from my body because it was so anxious and so like, it was somewhere off in outer space, like worried about the past. I mean, yeah, it'd be random. I'd be laying in bed and all of a sudden some fight that happened 20 years ago would come up and I'd spend like an hour ruminating on how it should have went not that way. And it's like, you can't change the past. We're wasting our energy. We're wasting our time. Why are these things happening? But I finally learned how to get them out. And I really do believe that our body like holds different emotions, different traumas. And when you finally like create that safety, create the ability to relax, to release, it's so much more effective.
Yeah, no, 100%. You talk about holding and carrying emotions. You mentioned at the beginning, we talked about as far as you were constantly carrying your patient's traumas. Like, so explain that a little bit more. You could feel what they were feeling. How does that work for healthcare providers? Because you guys are stuck in the mix of it all the time. So I know it affects you guys and even first responders. It goes in so many ways that nobody sees.
Well, I think most of us are empaths. I mean, we probably wouldn't be in that field if we weren't. And most women in general are empaths. But if you're in that field, it's because you want to help people and you care. Well, I had no like energetic boundaries then, and I could feel what my patients were going through. And, it's literally being in a trauma OR, you're with them on the worst day of their life. And you're with someone every day on the worst day of their life or near the worst day of their life, one of them. And so trying to support them through that when I didn't even know how to support myself was very hard. And like I remember I would just be like shuffling through the hallways, head down, just get to the next task. I wasn't emotionally available because I was so overwhelmed with all of this stimulation. So I did learn energetic boundaries. And part of that I do also in my classes, and I teach people, to create a bubble around their aura. What's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. And I don't have to carry it for you, and I shouldn't carry it for you. I can, sympathize for you, but I can't handle anything for you. It doesn't help you if I'm in the same state you are. So being able to separate out, release anything that's not mine, call my power back and keep it like in my bubble. I do so much better, I'm able to support them so much better and think clearer, move faster.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so-
No, you're good. You're good. That's so interesting. And I think we're all empaths of something because if we look at it from the science standpoint, okay, because a lot of people like science, we are electrical beings. We have electrochemical gradients that run inside our bodies, calcium, potassium, the ions of those gradients. So when you hug somebody, like whether it's gonna be like a legit good hug and like hey, are you good? Or, oh my God, that felt so good. Hold me a little bit more. You know, it's kind of like when you walk into a room and you read a room and you look across the room and you got somebody who's clicking a pen and patting their foot, tapping their leg. I'm like, that's a lot. I don't have the energy space for that. But yet you see this group of people that you don't even know, and you're like, those are more my people. We read a room, we read people based on their tones, their expressions, micro expressions, facial expressions, how they carry themselves, everything. So it's interesting though, you talk about like walking through the halls and like head down and just on to the next task. I'm sure you've seen and been with a lot in the trauma OR. So I'm sure there's a lot of things in there that probably also carried on some new traumas for you as well, you know?
It's a very awkward place to live your life. Like, I have to say, it shows like my mindset that I chose that to be my physical job, like that this is like how I chose to play out my life. Going to the OR, seeing things that most human beings would be like shocked, appalled, taken aback, non-functional seeing. Like, I mean, I've seen some crazy things. And we also do amazing things in the hospital that I work at. I mean, they're the first people that came up with some of the spinal treatments that have allowed people to regain the ability to walk after being paralyzed. Like, first people in the country. Like, it's healthcare is amazing. It also isn't healthy for the people in it, like the patients as well as the nurses. Like, you're waking your patients up all night long to get vital signs. You can't actually rest in a hospital. Neither can any of the providers or the nurses. Like, our world is constantly pushing us to go harder, faster, be more efficient, get things done, and it's leaving all of the humanity behind. So the more that we can bring that back in, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Um, for the staff as well as the patients, like holistic nursing is my passion, and I would love to bring more of that to my hospital and all of the hospitals. Just in general, like make it a cultural shift out of the go, go, go red tape things. Like, it really came to a head during COVID. Like I said, the energy walking into that hospital, being an empath, seeing the unshakable anesthesiologists scared for their lives, scared for their families. Like, doctors were living in the hotel next door to the hospital so they wouldn't expose their families to the COVID virus.
Yeah.
Like, the people, it was from the very top, the people that I see dealing with life and death, making these decisions and doing these things unshakably every day, were shaken, to like the EVS people stealing all the hand sanitizer out of the closet because they thought that was going to save their lives. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was affected. And I was just like, oh my God, everyone needs coping skills. Like, you all need breath work. We all need to take care of each other. Like, this is just not acceptable.
Well, 100%. I mean, it was a very quote unquote scary time. There's a lot of fear push, a lot of, I mean, nobody knew what they didn't know. So you're trying everything that you possibly can. But yeah, it was definitely a very different time, and you learned a lot at the same time of just a lot of truths got exposed during that time, I feel like too. But you could see the difference in everybody's nervous system. Like you talk about, unshakable people who get shaken. I saw that so much, and I'm like, am I the only sane person here? Like, am I the only person not freaking out? Number one. But number two, is it also in this space of like, we're using this as a way of like, oh, it's the end of the world. It's kind of like whenever 2012 came and they were like, oh, it's the last day of the world because the Mayan calendar circle ran out. No, bro, it just hit its end. Time to create another one. We have a new calendar that comes out every year. I don't understand. Their circle just finally met. But it's just, I'm with you on the nervous system regulation. And I think also healthcare providers, like, I'm kind of on the opposite side of some of those things whenever it comes to that. I think healthcare is an amazing space, absolutely. And I think there is an absolute need for it. I think you guys get pushed a lot to your limits and you're doing so much in trying to check everybody else's boxes too, that I don't think you guys get enough appreciation or compensation as well. And it kind of puts you in that space of that fight and flight. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. It amazes me sometimes when I have seen you guys and like nurses being in that space where they question and they go to the doctor, hey, this is what I'm noticing. And then sometimes doctors brush it off and no, 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 you're not the doctor. You don't know. And it's like, yeah, but you're doing your beautiful work as well. And you can tell that you guys invest so much into the patients. So I'm honoring you in that. I am honoring you in that because it is important. And I totally get that. I can see that from a lot of the nurses more so than anybody, is you guys have that heart of care. So being able to give back to you guys and, have that breath work, have that moment where you can regulate so you can show up better for your patients. So let's go back to one of the questions or one of the statements that you made earlier of most of the nurses and the healthcare workers, I don't have time. What would you tell your own coworkers who are listening to this, or even other healthcare providers and first responders? What is something practical that they could start with that they can make time for when it comes to breath work and meditation?
Well, the easiest way in the beginning to actually integrate it into your life is to tie it to a certain thing. So, like you're sitting down to eat, paying attention, where is my breath right now? And then just doing a quick reset. Or even going to the bathroom if you get that luxury, like during your shift, when you're sitting on the toilet, instead of like trying to go as fast as possible, taking the full bathroom time and resetting your breath and breathe into your belly and bring yourself back down. Just doing these micro check-ins is amazing to actually like shift you over time so that you're going to feel more steady, more stable. And then when you have the time to do the longer practices, the deeper practices, you can build from there. And you're going to see it's just amazing how fast you can shift things and feel so much better. And energetically, it's an amazing thing. I mean, when I committed to my first 40 days of doing 15-minute practices every single day, I ended up like not only feeling amazing, but like my energy was so much more easeful. Like amazing things started happening. Felt like I was kind of walking on cloud nine. I got this amazing raise. I got the biggest raise out of anyone in the OR. I got a $7 an hour raise out of nowhere, out of the blue, and I truly accredit it to shifting my energy. Yes, everyone got some sort of raise in that, most likely, but I got the biggest one out of everyone. Due to my years of service and my experience and everything, like they looked at each individual nurse and decided she gets this much, she gets that much. I really feel like my commitment to shifting my energy, not only did I feel better, but like things just started magnetizing to me effortlessly. So it'll shift you in like so many ways I can't even explain.
100%. No, and we see the same things with clients too, even for myself. My business expanded, my business grew, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna go do that. You get this confidence, you get this authority, you get this, I don't know, like it helps you to reclaim your power. It shows you that you are capable. It shows you that you can do anything. You're not a failure. You're not whatever monkey brain tends to tell you. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
you level up into your next best version, whatever that might be.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I loved our conversation today. Thank you for all the amazing techniques and tools that we got to do. Tell us a little bit more. I know you said you have a freebie that you want to give to everybody. Tell us a little bit more about that and where they can find you on social medias and website and everything else.
The freebie I'm giving out is different styles of breath work. It's a PDF, so you can just take it, look at it whenever you have time, practice what calls to you, what feels good in that moment. I also have a breathwork membership. If anybody's interested in the daily support, having a video, a follow along to reference, that is also available. I am Calm Peaceful Life on Instagram. I am also Calm Peaceful Life on Facebook. on YouTube. And then, well, it's actually calm.peaceful.life on Instagram. Sorry. And then I am breathwork nurse on TikTok.
Okay, okay. See, I don't the whole TikTok thing. I think I need to get into it. I was on it for a while and then I got off of it, but anyway, well, thank you so much. And we're going to get all those links out for you guys. You can go follow Christina. You can go get connected in her membership and be able to start up leveling your own life and also up leveling your health. Because as we know, we get more oxygenated blood flow. So it helps you to live longer and better. So, but thank you so much. I enjoyed this and I'm so glad to be able to have you here and to showcase your amazingness to everybody. So, thank you, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.